So this is class 1, and let's get started. So, make one variable storing a string, another storing an int, another storing a boolean. That's easy. So we make one variable, or variables you can call any name you want, and then let's have it store a string. So this is a string, right? So it can be any combination of letters as long as you want. Doesn't matter, as long as they're within quotes. And it can even have numbers as well. Let's make another variable, and let's have this store an integer. And an integer, remember, is just any whole number. So 12, -12, they're fine. But as soon as you add decimals, it becomes a float. So if you want to have an integer, you can only have whole numbers. Let's make another variable, and let's have this store a boolean. Remember, booleans can either be true or false. Yeah, those are the only two data types for boolean. Okay, so let's do that there. Let's go on to the next one. 1.2, use a print statement to print something. So, a number or a string. So, and it can do both. It can even print out a boolean. It can print out basically anything you want it to. So if you print out, you can print out variables. So you can print out the variable that's being stored in variable 1, like that. You can directly just print it out. So you can directly print out a string, like that. And you can also directly print out a number, and you can directly print out booleans. So like that. So yep, there you go. We have those printed out. Remember, variables are just substitutions, right? So when Python sees this variable 1 here, it substitutes this string, just like that, and it just puts it right into here, and then it prints whatever that is. Let's do 1.3 now. Use a print statement to print what is stored in a variable to the console. Yeah, so it's just this right here. Let's do that. And there you go, it's printed. And to prevent things from overcluttering, we can do this. And there you go, that's our answer for 1.3. Just use the triple quotes, triple single quotes to comment everything out. And everything within them will not be ran. 1.4, store what is held in the variable 1 into the variable 2. Print what is stored in each to show your results. So we're just going to make two variables, arbitrary variables. Variable 1 equals whatever you want it, and then make variable 2 equal to variable 1. Remember, variables can equal each other, so they can assign each other, because remember, variables are just substitutions, right? So this variable 1 here is just substituting this value right here. And just print these out. Variable 1, and print out variable 2. Let's run this, and there you go. They're equal. Nice. Okay, 1.5, create a string variable holding your name. My name is Chris. So let's make a name variable like that. And that's it. Variable problem 1.6. If you have two strings and one stores dog and the other stores cat, add them together. Store them added together into a new variable and print that variable. So we have dog and cat, and all we have to do is just since they one of them stores dog, the other one stores cat, let's just add them together. And there you go, you have dog cat. Remember, you can add strings together, but you can't subtract them, okay? And when you add strings together, it literally just takes whatever this is and just puts it right in there, like that, and then does that. That's all it does. Okay, 1.7. Three variables, A, B, and C. A holds 1, so A equals 1. B holds 2, so B equals 2. C holds 3, C equals 3. Get the sum of the variables and print it. So remember, the sum is just all of them added, so we just do that, and we can print this out. Let's make it a little bit less cluttery, and there you go, 6. Right, so you can directly put this, just add them together, right, and then just put them into parentheses. Print does this all these values, does this calculation for you, and then it prints them out like that. 1.8. Make a variable holding a boolean and change it to the other condition. So if it's true, make it false, make something false to true. Right, so remember, the point of this is that to just understand that booleans, remember, only have two values, and they true and false, and they are completely opposites, right? And we'll be using booleans much more in the next unit, but for now, yeah, just understand that that there are just two values, true and false, and they're completely opposites, right? So true is true, and false is, as you know, false. Okay, and that's it. Let's comment this out. Okay, 1.9. After every problem, it prints out the answers after you have moved on. Use these hashtags to comment them out and see what happened. Right? Yeah. So these are another kind of comment from the triple quotes. And what comments are? They're literally this, right? So they're literally a hash in front of it, and then whatever you want it. Notice that it has this grayish kind of color, right? So if I have something like this, right, this is not legal, right? Because this is not a thing, right? This is just some random bunch of letters just put together, and if I try to run it, it gives me an error, right? This is not defined because it doesn't know what the heck this is. You can just do this, and it doesn't take this into account. And as you can see, everyone's happy, and we're doing. We can go continue our business. Commenting is also useful for telling the programmer, which is us, what we're doing, right? So if we're doing this, right, we could, if we want to be more useful, if we wanted to add some more commentary to it, if we want to tell people what it was doing, we could say this is the sum of A, B, and C. And if someone were to look at your code, they would know what this is doing. Now, I know this is kind of a basic example, and it's really not necessary. But in future projects, I'm talking down the line, these comments will be your friend. Okay, 1.10. Make two variables and make a print statement doing one of these operations. That's the same thing as we're doing here, but it turns out that you can do any operation, right? So you can do like 112 plus 23. If we run that, we get this. You can also do multiplication. So if you multiply these two numbers, it'll do this for us, right? And this is kind of like a mini calculator. And it does that for us. What's interesting is that these are actually orders that actually follows PEMDAS, right? So this thingy, right? And it does parentheses first, it does exponentials first, second, and then it does multiplication division, and then it does addition subtraction. So if I were to do this, so you notice how it's a giant negative number, right? Because it does this first, and then it does this part first. We can actually use parentheses, right? So, just like in PEMDAS, we can use parentheses, and it'll evaluate the parentheses first. So now it's a big number because it does this first, right? It's a big positive number because it does this first. 1.11, make two int variables and cast them to string variables. Add them together. So, right, so let's do exactly what it tells us to do. Variable 1, let's make that equal to 14. Variable 2, let's make that equal to 15. And let's cast them to strings. So, we can print these out. Let's cast them, variable 1 to a string. So using the str, so this is the string cast, and then we can add them as after we've casted them. So variable 2, just like that. Let's comment this out. We can use this guy, our little friend here, the hash, and let's print this out. Notice how we get this 1415, right? So it literally takes it. So when you turn it into a string, right? It takes this 14 and puts quotes around them, and this becomes a string. Okay. Now, if I were to take those out, it would just add them together like normal integers, right? So 29, right? So we treat them as numbers. Okay. So remember this and this, like that. There are differences between these two kinds of datas. Okay, one's a string and one's an integer. Don't get them confused. Finally, do division with two int variables which don't evenly divide into each other. Cast the answer to an int and print the integer. Okay, so let's use our friends again. So let's comment this out. We can use these same variables that we defined up here in variable 2. So let's print this out. So if we do this, we get this decimal, right? So 0.993333, because this is a float. This gives us a float. But if we do this, if we cast them to integers, all of a sudden we get 0. Why is that? Well, the thing is, it just takes off the decimals, right? So remember that 0.93333 thingy? Well, when you cast it to an integer, right? Remember, so this is a float, right? Because it has decimals. If we apply the int cast like that, it takes this and takes all these decimals away and just becomes 0. So if I were to do the other way around, 15 divided by 14, so like that, and let's take out the ints, right? So we get like 1 point something. Yep, so 1.07. If I were to cast this to an int, right, I'm going to think, okay, so Python is going to take this, these decimals off, and it's just going to give me 1. So let's see that in action. And there you go. And that's problem set 1 for you. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check the description, and see you next time.